Time, you have a 5-minute time limit. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. And we'll go to the next item on the agenda. See if everybody has had a chance to look over the minutes. And when you have, if I can get a second or a motion. All right, second. All right. Any discussion, any changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll move on to the fourth item. Leslie, the annual federal funds obligation report, Tennessee and Virginia.
I forgot to unmute my microphone on the Zoom initially, so probably a blank space there at the beginning, but Chase Milner just showed up, so now everybody's present except Hawkins County Churchill Mount Carmel rep. So agenda item number 4, you all know every year we have to publish the list of any federal funds that were obligated during the previous fiscal year. So federal fiscal year ended September 30th. By the end of December, we have to have these posted on the website. The first one is the Tennessee FTA funds. So Frontier Health did not apply for any grants. NetTrans, we have their amount, 481,000, and then PATS has not given me their information yet. As soon as I receive it, I will update this before it's posted online. And then, as usual, the list from TDOT that lists all the federal funds, whether it's, for state projects or local. And then the Virginia, they break stuff down a little bit more that was obligated in 24. Any questions?
All right, no actions needed, so we'll move to item 5, Leslie, the miscellaneous items.
Okay. So you all know we adopted our updated urban boundary, our adjusted urban boundary at the last meeting or the one before that. So our next thing is going to be the planning boundary. We'll be working on that probably, I don't know if we'll adopt it in February or May, but just after the first of the year, we'll be looking at that. So the map that was in the agenda is actually a little bit wrong down here on where we meet Johnson City. So this, what you're seeing up here is the green is our adjusted urban area that you all approved. The gray is our current planning area based on the 2010 census. And the blue is what we're proposing to change the planning area to. Our urban area shrunk quite a bit, so we're going to pull our planning area back as well. We'd had discussion with VDOT about leaving Gate City and Weber City and Yuma, just the city limits in the planning area. So this shows down here where we meet Johnson City. You all know Johnson City does plan for part of our urban area currently. So that shows the striped section would be Johnson City's planning area. We've met with them and discussed it. So they would actually be going up to the Washington County line and take that part of our urban area, which they would plan for. We'll have to do a written agreement with that. And then that's just a little bit closer picture of that area, just showing where we have the overlap. That dark gray is what's in our planning area currently. We're going to pull out of that, and Johnson City is going to take that whole area.
What are the roads over here that we're losing in the county?
Well, part of that, he's just doing Washington County. You mean up in our area?
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
So say what the question
I'm
is.
sorry, I was just the gray area on the eastern side. I was just curious as to what road names those were that we're pulling back
And Bristol
from.
may be picking that up. I'm not sure.
We met with Bristol and
Okay.
picking that area up, but it's just east of the airport is where you're looking at there. So that's
Okay.
So with that being said, Leslie, like in Greene County and Hawkins County, and are those counties picking those areas up?
They'll go to the rural planning organization, which is Chase.
Okay, so all the areas are covered.
Yes. Anything that's outside the MPO area goes to the RPO.
Okay, thanks, Amber, for that question.
But yeah, we've met with Bristol about our boundaries over there, and then Johnson City about down here. So
Same thing in Scott County.
they have the PDCs, which will be Jimmy.
Okay.
Yep.
So I believe it, I have a comment.
Jimmy, if you could cut your microphone.
Yeah, I need that one.
Yeah, you honestly do. I don't know, it ain't lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's green.
Oh, it is? Oh, it's up there, yeah. I was at the college the lights done. No, my only comment, believe it or not, is, I know the effort that's been done on this headache for the last, I don't know, 18 months or so. Leslie, I try to thank you every time this gets brought up. So again, for Mike's benefit for the Bennettts, I do appreciate all the effort and work y'all did for, Virginia side. Blake doesn't feel the same way, but it's okay. I second that, Jimmy.
What's your western line there in Hawkins County?
I think we did city limits, I believe.
Okay.
I have to look back at it. You know, we
It's
work on
not-
these and then we
it's
don't
not-
look at it again for a month or two. It's like,
It's as long as it's not like splitting a road. As long as we got all of it, that's the biggest thing. And the other way, is that 394 still?
yes,
We got 394 is gonna be in Kingsport.
I can't remember, but we meet Bristol there.
Yeah, it's hard to.
As long as it's all in one or the other,
You can
we're
zoom
good.
in quite a bit. It's pretty high resolution. I think you could get closer.
That was the line before, kind of was 390.
Yeah, I know.
I believe it ends up splitting.
It's,
The blocks.
it's,
Because of the
yeah, okay, so this is, here's Bluntville right here. So this would be 394.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the interstate side and the bottom will be in
Bristol.
All
Bristol.
that's. We're meeting them all the way down.
And then the road, the actual road is going to be, well, it will be in either one of the other.
Yeah, it's.
So we're not taking a center line or something.
So I think we,
Which is,
think we are. I think that's the way.
That the
With
blocks
all
are
the
set up.
decision, all the conversation, the way Tennessee wanted it done and the way Virginia wanted it done different. And I know in Virginia, they did not want us to put a road all the way in or out. They made us do center line.
They do think so.
I'm trying to remember if it carried over here. We can double check that. This is a
we
draft.
not learned
so-
anything from State
but-
Street.
So do we have,
Yeah,
But what y'all are saying is one of us needs it all in or all out.
just for studying and everything and for modeling, you either want it in one or the other. It doesn't matter where, just as long as it's in there.
Yeah, I think before though, wasn't 394 North split? At one, maybe that was,
That was the line, that
decades
was our
ago.
line.
Yeah, so now,
The whole, there's no change to that line there except for meeting the new census block
gotcha,
Okay.
as they were redefined. So
okay,
we all had to meet there.
okay.
394 is the boundary for the census line there.
Yeah, just get it in one or the other.
Yep.
Really good.
Got that.
Because that'll really mess up your model. And then on the southern part there of Washington County, you're pulling back Spurgeon Gap and all that is going to Glen,
Yes.
just up to the line and that little,
Well, let me go over
So
to
that
this other
line
one.
running out of Spurgeon is 36.
oh, yeah.
So.
So that'll all
they
be
just-
Johnson City.
yeah, Johnson City felt like it made sense to go ahead and have that intersection in there, where they've been planning for Gray. So
So
what
is
we're
that-
doing is pulling pulling back to the Washington County line, over to the lake.
So 75-36 intersection,
Right there where it says.
that's Johnson City.
Yes.
Okay, so that project someday, if it ever happens, could be in two.
Yes. But and we look at it kind of from the other standpoint. If you have two MPOs prioritizing something and pushing it to the state.
Go ahead, look at it.
That could be more powerful, but at the same time, it takes more coordination. You gotta make sure both.
Yeah.
Are on the same page. There's pros and cons in everything.
Mr. Chairman, question. I was wondering how this was going to change any of the projects you already have on the tip. Is it going to have to shift any funding around the way that these lines and boundaries have
I'm
shifted?
not really concerned about that because we're gonna be redoing the tip next year. But also, I think what's gonna change the tip more is PDOT's 10-year plan.
I don't think it will, because our big one's 126 and it's all in.
I was just thinking down the road for all you guys. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Leslie? On that first item? All right, second item on there.
So the statewide household travel survey, just another update. We talked about this last time. We just had some preliminary information. Since then, they do have consultants on board, WSP and Westat are the consultants working on this. 8 of the MPOs in Tennessee, 8 of the 11 MPOs are participating. So this is basically a statewide household travel survey. There's nothing in the agenda about it. They're currently developing the survey based on each MPO's needs. They actually interviewed each MPO. In the Tri-Cities, we're going to keep a consistent survey, like 500 sample size from each MPO. And our survey is going to be consistent, so that way we can all use each other's data or as a whole. They do plan to get some from Virginia, especially for Bristol, where they're about split half and half, but we will have some surveys for Virginia. So if you all start seeing stuff come out, they're working on the public engagement plan, they're finalizing it and the public outreach information. They'll start sending public outreach stuff. Probably send it around the end of the year, or 1st of January, and then they're expecting to do the survey February through April with final reports at the end of August. So, you know, this is not just a typical Survey Monkey survey. It's people actually tracking their travel and like really getting into the details. So I think they have a hard time sometimes getting people to respond, but they do offer incentives. So if you get something, please, I think they're doing My Travels Count is what it's going to be, and it'll have TDOT's logo and probably the MPO logos and stuff. But you know, if you all get it, you know, distribute it to people, let them know, hey, this is legit. Please participate if you actually get picked to do the survey so we can get the data. They do offer different ways to do it, either online, the app, or you can actually, I think, do paper and write everything down and send it in to them. Or they probably prefer the app because it'll be easier to get the data, but they do offer different options. So we'll keep y'all posted on that. Unless we have a called meeting, the next time we get together, they'll probably be in the survey, but I'll be sending emails, especially when we get the outreach information that, you know, to send out to everybody.
Any questions or comments for Leslie on that? All right, VDOT constrained long-range plan revenue forecast.
Yeah, and this is just another informational item. This will come in handy when we start on our long-range plan, which will start probably trying to get a consultant on board in the spring. It's due in May of 27. VDOT actually sent us this constrained long-range plan revenue forecast that goes all the way out to 2055. So our plan will be our 2050 plan. But this will be very helpful when we start that process, looking at what revenues we anticipate. We'll have to do something similar on Tennessee's side, but we'll be working with TDOT on that. You want to add anything, Blake?
I'll say I think I'm pretty good. I believe this is the first year that we have sent something this detailed out. Typically in the past, it was only, well, we didn't send hardly anything this detailed, to be quite honest with you. But I know the federal program side of VDOT spent a lot of time and effort to try to give some better forecast. And it was the MPOs were requesting this for their plans. And so I know they forecasted this out into the 50s, but I'll say, you know, the first 5 years of this, 6 years is going to be pretty solid information. And then after that, it's all just forecast based on where we think we're at and where we think we will be. But certainly good information to have as you start to put your plan together.
Have the growth rate or any idea what they use for growth rate?
I think it's in the methodology.
That's what I'm gonna. That's always the question.
All right, any other questions for Leslie on that? All right, Leslie, executive board meeting dates for 2025.
So Bristol discussed this at their meeting this morning. I discussed with Bristol about, you know, if we're just going to stick to the same schedule, which would be February 13th, May 8th, August 14th, and November 13th would be the scheduled meetings. Bristol in the morning, us in the afternoon. You all want to continue to follow that same schedule that Bristol does. It's good. We don't have to vote on it. You know, have called meetings as we need or cancel if we don't have anything, but I know we'll have quite a bit of stuff come up in February because we have to do our PM1 and PM2 and PM3 and have quite a bit of stuff in February we'll have to work on. So we'll definitely have our February meeting.
You're not asking for a vote, you're just asking consensus, right? Everybody good with that? Anybody not? All right. Item 7, federal and state partners updates and project updates.
See here. See who's online. You want to allow Evan and Mitchell to talk,
Sure.
you guys to do it on his thing. We'll start with transit. Candace, will you give her a microphone? Like,
Candace, you want to sit down?
Sure.
right, Tim, you'll be next.
So this will be for CATS update, and I'm not sure what if this is a little redundant, but we are working on our national transit database numbers. Some of that just shows, how many people we served, ridership, some of the figures that Leslie's looking for. So we will be having that completed soon. We do have our Dial-A-Ride ticket promotion. This is for the van service coming up. All of those ticket books are going to be half price. The very popular promotion that we're offering 4 times in a year. People are pretty excited about that one. I think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but we're still working on our micro transit program. We have an app in process. We're about to roll that out where people can actually schedule their trips and cancel their trips on an app. You can still call in the same way that you always have. This is just going to be another way to be able to access transit. This is also going to be exciting for people who it's almost like an Uber type or same day kind of service. So transit has really struggled with not being able to get the size buses that we currently have that have the low floor cut ramp. And so we've really started to spin this into, well, what can we get and what can we do with what we can get? And I know Mitch Elliott, we were actually scheduled to go see him and some of his vehicles tomorrow, but we've had to cancel and we're going to have to reschedule due to some illness. But they've done a phenomenal job with their program and their micro transit and the vehicles that they have. And so we had a vendor come out and bring a vehicle this week. Actually, it's called a Starlight, but I think it's their vehicle that they've seen a lot of success with. So it's a smaller. So we're just going to have to, use what we can use. We've got 5 new vans about ready to hit the scene. They got wrapped this week with stickers and decals. They're looking very sharp. So you'll see those out and about pretty soon. We had a triennial review with no findings. We're very proud of that. That's the first time in a while or it may be if ever that's happened. So we're very proud of that. And I think that's it. We've got our Rider the Elf promotion that will happen in December. Rider comes out and people can look for him along the route and win a free bus pass. So that's it for CATS.
Yes. Tim.
So is it on? Okay. Basically just been working on getting our national transit database numbers in. That's basically been the entire focus and there's not much more than that to report. Trying to get all that finished up by the end of this month. So it's been fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mitchell, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to add, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to add a couple of things, and we're glad that we're working with CATS, and we do have some background on the buses she's talking about, and also the micro transit program. We've been involved in the micro transit for about 18 months now, and we just did our 175,000 trips. So that's kind of been a boost for us. It has increased our ridership by about 18% 1 year over the other. We're currently working with a fire free grant along with this Virginia DRPT that we have been fire free for the last 4 years, or actually we're going into year number 4, and we have to do that at 100% of of what we would take in Firebox. But things seem to be going pretty well, and we're glad to be able to help the folks in Kingsport any way possible. And I think that that's probably all I have to offer.
Well, thank you. We miss seeing you.
I miss seeing you folks. Seems like every time the schedule is, I get something else I have to have completed by that day. Of course, I guess everybody listening to me probably has that problem. So maybe next time I'll be able to make it, and I'll bring you a half a head of cabbage when I come.
Okay. Okay, Evan with DRPT, do you have updates? You're muted if you're speaking. Chris, do you want to come up here and do the airport? David's on, but since you're here.
So the airport had two construction projects planned to start this fall, our taxway alpha extension, taxway trailer removal, and runway 5 safety area, safety improvements, and then a new parking lot that we were gonna build, but those have been delayed because of the hurricane. The contractor that was gonna work on their projects was needed elsewhere, and we decided to delay it until the spring and participate in that. So that'll make a busy year next year. We have those two projects. We're gonna be expanding our checkpoint at the airport to double the size of that to accommodate not necessarily more passengers, but more streamlined and everything, be a more comfortable experience in the current checkpoint layout now. Our master plan layout still going through. We're hoping to have another public meeting for that sometime at the beginning of next year. Not sure when at the moment. We did just finalize our preferred layout of the future airport, which I'd be more than happy to present at either this meeting or the Bristol one in the future, if necessary. Some exciting things from that, a second parallel runway, removing our current GA crosswind runway to help facilitate extra growth, such as an expansion to our concourse, additional parking, future parking garages and hangars to kind of bump the airport up and make it an economic driver for the region. And that's really about it, all we got going on at the moment.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well,
Extra park was needed at the airport. I think I had to park in Colonial Heights last time. I'm all in favor of that.
Blake, do you have anything for VDOT? Roy, VDOT?
Couple things. You all asked about, Memorial Parkway or Memorial Boulevard, project. That 03 pin is from Center to Briarwood. That's that first section. So, it originally, how it worked is we have two sections on Memorial that we're working on up to the cemetery, basically, and the cemetery on out to 81. But that first pin has been broken half again. We're doing the Kingsport section from Center Street up to Briarwood, which is almost the city limits. And then and that's been funded. That's in the 10-year plan. So that one's moving. Then the second section is, it's not in the 10-year. And that goes up from there, basically out to Genzi's Tavern or the cemetery there. I think that was an $86 million project on that first half of a half. So, second, was asked about Fort Robinson Bridge, and this is one of Mike's favorites, dear to his heart. We have funding has been approved on right away for that one. We can go ahead and start buying property. The letting has been pushed out on construction. And looking at December 28th.
Say 28.
Yep. We had, we took a big hit on our off-system bridges and asphalt, several things. And so a bunch of it got pushed out, but we did get the funding to go and get it, which was, there's a property owner that had a structure or something there that was an issue. So we got that lined up and ready to go. And they're supposed to be pushing on that. So we've got another big project like Memorial we're working on. We've got a couple of them in the region. We 66 there in Bulls Gap. We've got 275 properties on that one. We're starting to chase right now. I'm like, just squeeze this one in. Let's make this go. And let's keep moving. So Randy Busto's the contact on the bridge.
Or will the storm that happened, Elaine, cause any projects that are going to be delayed?
That's a perfect segue into where I was going next.
Good deal.
What has happened, of course, we have our state with SPP projects, state partnership projects and 10-year plan. We look at that typically every December, and it usually rolls out of roughly shortly after that. Because of the storm, we've had over 500 million, $500 million in damage, just to state routes, just to state for our bridges and our roads. That's in those 5 counties, doesn't have anything to do with the local roads. There will be an announcement later this afternoon. We should all be getting an email about that will discuss this more in depth. So basically what's going on as a result of those storms, we can get federal money to reimburse some of that, and we have to do it now. Because of that, what they have gone at, and we will be looking at the 10-year plan again, but we will not be releasing it early. It will be more like April. Is when those SPP results and 10-year plan will be. So instead of getting it next month, it'll get pushed down a little bit so we can get the rest of this worked out. The state legislature to let you.
Wow, $500 million for the damage just in Tennessee.
Just to the state roads.
Yeah, state roads.
In Tennessee. And we have one bridge specifically, y'all have been down to Lamar, down by, Fender's Farms. That bridge was 400 foot. The river is now 600 foot on spot. And that's just one little location. Not counting what we've already done on 26 and where it's coming on 26, because that's going to be a long rebuild. Fix we have there is kind of temporary. We've got 2 lanes open. Let's keep moving. We're going to rebuild this one, come back and rebuild this one completely, and then we'll have 2 fully bridges. And then we've got, multiple roads that are still closed in Johnson County that were not affected by the Nolichucky, but by their streams. And because VDOT had to help us out on one side, we had a whole end of the county that we couldn't get out. They got to Damascus, what did I tell you? 15,000 ton of rock just for one little slide, for one little spot that we had fixed. And our guys have been working 6-7 days a week trying to get those filled in, and we ran the quarries out of rock. So they were shooting, they had to do shots, and they were doing shots just for us, and we weren't even taking them. They weren't even working the rock. We were just taking them right off the side. Some of them were the size of the cars. We don't care, put them in the truck. And we were running everything we had, and they brought the trucks up from all our regional crews, our floating maintenance crew, all like 30 of them all came up and moved. So, and then part of them had to go to Florida to help out with the hurricane, but FDOT was up here helping us during all that as well. Florida came to our aid, helped us quite a bit during that, because they're pretty good at dealing with storms and water. So if you saw an FDOT truck running around, that's what they were doing. I saw several. And then the next week we had our crews heading it that way. So, but yeah, it's been an adventure to say the least, but we're getting there. I talked to Blake. I was going to have some traffic counts because we like numbers. With 81 being the main route now because 40 is closed and 26 was closed. I called Blake. I was going to have our guys do traffic counts on 81 just to see what we had, and they have automatic counters. So we're going to pull some Virginia data and look at a few things and just see how many trucks we have. Because if you're driving 81 at night at all, every ramp like a Christmas tree because they're parking nowhere to go. So
Their welcome center now never had a problem before, and you'll see
stacked
10 on the ramps.
Yep. They're not supposed to do that, but
What are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do with them?
Either that or let them drive when they can.
Right,
So,
right. And this is extraordinary time, so, but that's kind of where we're at. So, we have been very, very, very busy and, a lot going on, and but we're making progress. I mean, we got, as what they've done on 26 was quick. Got that one up and running, and then we're working on 40. Of course, the North Carolina side of 40 has been rough. But, our SmartWay maps, Andy's been the one keeping those up to date from our regional traffic. So, SmartWay maps are current and up and accurate. So keep an eye on those if you're looking at doing any of the traveling and get back. Because I know, going up through 26 will be slow going there for a little bit, and then you get up there and go, it's not bad. Our traffic counts on top of the mountain have never been that. But everything down, especially on this end's all. That's kind of what I've got. If you've got other projects, that sort of stuff, just let me know and we'll get working on it. And keep getting y'all updates.
So Evan from DRPT does not have any updates. I'll say at TAPA last week over at Meadowview, ETSU Geosciences did a presentation about their early assessments from Helene, and it was very, very interesting. And there's a couple of links I can share with y'all if you're interested, but they took like, you know, they got aerial photos of the areas before.
Yeah.
And then you can slide the bar over and you see what it did after. And then they've got a story map that has all kinds of stuff on it. It's really cool.
We've got sliders like that too.
Yeah.
So neat.
And we've got a presentation or two that's out there floating around. We were supposed to give one there and we didn't, so we got Dr. Luffman to come give it. That was a good one. But the destruction, one of the things she was talking about, we have flood gauges down there. And the flood gauge went offline because
At Embryville.
I mean, we're talking 30. It's,
He was down in Embryville last week, I think. It was unreal. It looked like somebody took a dozer that was, I don't know, half mile wide and just went down through there. Looked like that anyway.
well, we had a trooper car that we found in Washington County from Unicoi, right at the
Wow.
hospital. I mean, we have a lot of stuff tracked. Lots of stuff out there for sure.
Michael, do you want local projects?
I can just give you a quick update. Main Street, about 88% complete. We should be before Christmas, we should be 2 binder on everything but one 500-foot section right there at the Centennial Park, because we're going to do a very temporary stoppage as to not impact all of that Santa train and everything else going on there. Resurfacing grouping 1, the paving's complete. We have a little bit of guardrail and pavement markings to complete. The second grouping is trying to clear right away, Jason. We're addressing the final NEPA comments to get to right away, comments. Brickyard, bike and ped bridge. We've got NEPA categorical exclusion. We're waiting on, internal processes at TDOT to get us the notice to proceed with the actual design. West End Greenbelt, we are well into design. We just got approval for our design exceptions, and so we're very close to right away on that one as well. Any others that I don't see anything else that I need to hit. If y'all have any questions, I'm happy to answer any.
Any other project updates? Any member have anything before we adjourn? Thanks all for coming. We'll consider ourselves adjourned.
Hmm.